Hey, good evening. It's really awesome to have you guys here. My name is Daniel. I was a professional opera singer and beatboxer, and tonight we're gonna be listening to VoicePlay's My Mother Told Me, featuring Jose Rosario Jr. So I remember seeing Jose in Hoist the Colors, also by VoicePlay. So if you haven't seen that already, please go check out that video as well. And I wanted to do this one because we've done Valhalla Calling, and I know that that was supposed to be the sequel to this. So I'm just really excited to check this out, and I hope you guys are too. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
My mother told me someday I will buy galley with good oars, sail to distant shores, stand up on the prow.
Chills, dude.
Noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven. Hew many foemen, hew many foemen. My mother told me someday I will buy galley with good oars, sail to distant shores, stand up on the prow. Noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven. Hew many foemen, hew many foemen. My mother told me someday I will buy galley with good oars, sail to distant shores.
Nice.
Stand up on the prow. Noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven. Hew many foemen, hew many foemen.
Yeah!
My mother told me someday I will buy galley with good oars, sail to distant shores, stand up on the prow. Noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven. Hew many foemen, hew many foemen. My mother told me someday I will buy galley with good oars, sail to distant shores. Stand up on the prow. Noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven. Hew many foemen, hew many foemen.
Oh, dude. Oh, that was so good. Their costuming, their makeup, just the arrangement itself was so solid. It always depends on the genre of music and the style of song and what it is you're trying to convey with the arrangement itself, let alone with the piece. So if you have something that's focused on a particular theme, you would want your music to fit within that theme. So you don't want to add too many really beautiful elements of music into it if it's something that embodies, say, a war cry. An example being something like a haka. You wouldn't have something very musically refined in a haka because it's screaming, essentially. It's raw emotion. So in something like this where it feels much more battle heavy and intense, there's so much power in their voices. When you're trying to portray that, it's best to have the arrangement to not reflect something really light and beautiful. You need that coarseness, that that grit. Yeah, the arrangement itself was just excellent. I wouldn't add any more arpeggios than they did, which was already occasional, and their sounds were very grounded. It didn't feel as intricate as their other pieces, which I think is necessary for this piece. I love the fact that it was so down to earth, so focused on those hard percussive elements, not just in terms of the beatboxing, the vocal percussion, but in terms of just their voices and the way that they approached each of their characters. I loved that each character had its own setting, their own style, and it just came together so brilliantly. Let's just jump into the analysis. I'm so excited for this.
My mother told me.
Just right off the bat, it's not focused on a classical technique where you would hold the ah on my, just my. It's my, really grinding out that E. And the way he just flows the cadence, told me. It just has that motion. Told me, instead of my mother told me. You just have my mother told me. It just flows and there's a slight drag to it, but it's still very weighted, which is very fitting for this type of piece.
Someday I will buy.
Closing off the M, but keeping the rest of the cadence consistent in its momentum. Love it.
Galley with good oars, sail to distant shores.
Just that entire opening where there's no percussion, it's just focused on their lone voices with this white noise wind in the background. Excellent choice to set the tone of the piece. Love it.
Good oars, sail to distant shores.
Stand up on the prow, noble bark I steer.
Steady course.
I have to see what Jeff's doing again.
Shores.
Stand up on the prow, noble bark I steer.
Jeff does something that not only I do, but a colleague of mine used to do when we were in university, where the moment you would finish singing a note, our mouth would remain open to allow the sound to resonate still in the mouth. Even though the cadence has ended, the music has stopped, you still get the sensation that the music is still coming towards you, even though it's all ended. Stand up on the prow, noble hark I steer. And you just feel that extension even though the music ended. In this particular case, you see Jeff also do that, where his hand is open in that baritone claw like I mentioned in another video, I forgot which one. In this particular one, just holding his hand out, giving that visual subconscious correlation that you're keeping it open, but there's still strength.
The prow, noble bark I steer.
Steady.
And his mouth is just still open after that to just allow that sound to keep resonating. That could just be personal habit and he's not aware of it. Personally, I would doubt that, but, to each their own, but I still think that that's the case.
Course to the.
And steady, instead of still creating that sharper grit. I love that. Very good choice with the theme of the piece.
Noble bark I steer.
Steady course to the haven, humidity form.
Yeah, their hums are so open, like instead of yeah, it creates a lot more of a hollow sound, which is really needed for the kind of broadness they're about to execute here.
Humidity foreman.
Oh my my god, dude. Something that I really love about just the hums they did in that last section were the fact that you had that nice slide, that nice glissando going up, just instead of yeah, it's so texturally pleasing because in this piece, it's not supposed to be perfect in the middle of the pitch, refined, polished. It's supposed to have that primitive feeling, that down-to-earth kind of feeling. So I love that.
Haven, humany foremen, humany foremen, humany foremen.
Yeah. And he just starts with a closed O and opens it to an O. And what I mean by that is obviously an octave lower in this subharmonic bass devastation. But you get the idea. And it's so good texturally to start closed and to open it. Feel the weight of this grand bass just covering you head to toe in this bass veneer, let's say.
My mother told me someday I will buy Cali with good oars, sail to.
Their echoes, the arrangement is great. The addition of the bass on the second half of that verse is excellent. Just everything in this particular verse is very well rounded.
Distant shores, stand up on the prow, noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven, humany foemen, humany foemen. My mother told me someday I will buy.
And just the fact that they're all closing the M on someday, like together, it's so good, dude.
Told me someday I will buy galley.
It's so good. Bye. And it's the closed E. Bye. Bye. Instead of bye. Bye. Very bright vowels here. Love it.
Many foemen. My mother told me someday I will buy galley with good oars, sail to distant shore.
Those chords are incredible. Like it's so full and robust, and everyone is contributing, even Lane, and just the fact that they're all just giving so much power and bringing this so forward through their mask of my, instead of keeping it rounded and hollow. Ma. Yeah, it's so in your face. Because you feel it. Like, look at the face Ali is doing right now. This is exactly the face that they're making when they're singing, and the face that they want their audience to feel. Just that, you love it.
Stand up on the prow, noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven, humany foemen, humany foemen.
Oh, that many there. Oh, it didn't sound like it belonged in the key, but it was such a good cadence structure. I love it, dude. This arrangement is nuts. Like, it's simple. It's not so intricate and delicate where all the arpeggios are split up in all of these very intricate ways. It's just, it's all together, but the chords are just standing out so much more because of it. It's so good, dude. Nice reverb on Ellie's voice there. Adds a little bit more broadness to what's happening. Okay, I don't understand that sound. To do that by yourself. Like, it sounds like he's breathing in on a gargle. Like, it sounds like he's breathing in. But obviously not on a whistle, but kind of like you're snoring a little bit, relaxing your larynx and your uvula to just allow air to pass through and ricochet off of your uvula, I guess. But the closest way that I can make Lane sound is... And I have to use my hand for that. I can't use just my mouth alone. So it's really crazy what he's... And in order to make that sound with my hand, I make that gun shape, but I press my thumb against my index finger. And then I suck right in the middle there. And then I relax my uvula. And that's the idea. It takes a lot of practice though, so don't be upset if you can't get it right away. Just ending with that. Love that.
She told me someday I will buy.
Yeah, not a lot of those. It was a nice little accent there. Really good stuff. And Ellie is just killing it on his verse right now.
Sail to distant shores. Stand up on the prow.
Jeff's bass line right there is crazy. We're listening to it again.
Sail to distant shores. Stand up on the prow.
Oh, yeah.
Steer steady course to the haven.
Oh, yeah. So gritty and in your face, dude.
Steer steady course to the haven.
And then they don't shrink and shrivel, but they close in. They still maintain that extreme broad intensity, but it's so much more concentrated and feels so much more deadly. Oh, it's so good, dude.
My mother told.
And just to cut out on the last beat and have everybody cut out with just Jeff here, it's a great way to halt momentum in a piece. Because when you're just really feeling this immense raw power coming from the total group and just close all of it and stop on a dime and just have the single vocalist pushing through, it's not only so aesthetically pleasing, but you feel a physical sensation in your body of just like a sudden break, a sudden stop. You're just riding this wave of intense power and then you just crash only to have this small vocal line come through that's very tender, but still very powerful at the same time. It's incredible, dude.
My mother
so good.
told me someday I will buy.
That strong attack on the hums. Yeah, really good. Because the hums themselves are quiet and they're still maintaining that quiet. But the attack on it, that sharp intensity on it, it lets you know that we're still directing this intensity. We still have this power that we've yet to really fully in its entirety unleash. And we need you to still be in the atmosphere of intensity by it giving this attack.
Told me someday I will buy. Galley with
Yeah,
good
just that slide down too. Very gentle, but still intense.
oars. Sail to distant shore.
And it's so good. It's such a continuation as to what happened before, where Jeff was the only one leading through when everybody else cut out. And that was the conclusion to that effect, which is him actually continuing with everybody else coming back in instead of everybody else coming out and him coming in. It's a great part 1, part 2 effect that just really carried through, and the fact that they chose to do that on a bass note that was so open and broad and powerful and just completely envelops the listener. It's so great, dude.
Stand up on the prow. Steady course to the haven.
Yeah, and Lane's little sounds there that like there's so many like tiny little intricacies. He's the one creating those little intricacies, but they're just so faded in the background that it's just there for textural purposes and to provide that just really solid kick drum snare that but in between those, you just get these just tiny little sounds, and it's just so compelling. I'm completely wrapped.
Voice to the haven. Many foemen. Many foemen.
Ah! Nice to end on these oohs too. Take away the reverb on Ellie's voice there, kind of let you know that we're approaching the end of the piece. We're in a new environment. Ausgezeichnet. That was just wonderful. Some things that I really loved about that, just overall, is the arrangement of the piece, the way that they approached it. Everybody equally contributed to the piece. Like, something that I really love about VoicePlay in general is just the fact that they all focus on contributing equally. No one vocalist is carrying everyone else. Everyone's voice has such a particular role in fulfilling the broadness that they need to bring to the piece. It's the same thing with pentatonics, where you have a limited number of voices, so each voice needs to count. And that's especially true when you look at Lane, where whenever he isn't beatboxing, he's singing to fill out the rest of the chords, to add that additional layer, to say that even if he's not doing vocal percussion, he's still contributing. He's still adding that extra layer because the group needs it. And so great, dude. So great. What an excellent performance. What an excellent video, dude. Loved it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you guys want to ask me questions directly or just talk about anything, talk about life, ideas, my live streams are Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the time being, and I would love to be able to answer all of your questions there. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and if you didn't like it, dislike it and let me know why in the comments. I do read all of the comments, so please know that your comments do not go unnoticed, even if I might not heart or reply to all of them. I deeply appreciate all of you being here. It really does mean a lot to me, and I can't wait to see y'all in the next video. Have a great rest of your evening, everyone.